Now, Ukrainian troops are 30 kilometres inside Russia in what's become the deepest and most significant incursion since Moscow's full-scale invasion at the start of 2022. A spokesperson for the Russian Foreign Ministry has accused Kyiv of intimidating the peaceful population of Russia. But Ukraine's President Zelensky says 2,000 cross-border attacks have been launched by Russia from Kursk this summer. Meanwhile, President Zelensky has also accused Russian forces of lighting a fire on the premises of the occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in southern Ukraine. Let's get the latest from Katerina Malafeva, a Ukrainian journalist in Kyiv. Good morning, Katerina.
Good morning.
Many people have described this incursion into Russia as a big gamble by Volodymyr Zelensky. What's the mood about it in Kyiv?
Well, it's hard to assess the mood in particular among the civilian population because, for example, here in Kyiv, people mostly try to live day by day and cope with the missile attacks that are, intensified in the past 2 weeks. But of course, we are taking a close look at what's happening and do not really discuss it because even the Ukrainian officials started openly talking about it only yesterday when Zelensky acknowledged the presence of the Ukrainian troops in Russian Federation, and Ukraine's commander-in-chief Oleksiy Goncharenko also made a small post on his official page that the operation is ongoing. So normally during such operations there is a little discussion because people do not want to distract the luck from what's happening.
Yeah. What would you say is the primary objective of this incursion? Is this about sending a message to Vladimir Putin, or is it about diverting Russian troops away from the front line in Ukraine?
Look, I agree, and I said before that one of the biggest reasons is indeed to divert the troops from Donetsk region, where Russian troops advanced quite significantly. They already in the outskirts of the town of Toretsk, and my sources confirmed that the Kremlin moved 2 brigades from Donetsk region to Kursk region, to Russia, to strengthen. Of course, we see the reports that some of the Ukrainian officials say that this is specifically to stretch Russian forces and kind of have a more play better role in the negotiations with Moscow if they happen later this year. But I also discussed yesterday with one specialist that, the biggest threat that Russia represents to the civilian population are actually the shelling. And no matter how much Western air defense is supplied, the stocks are depleting, and Russia keeps attacking the cities. So one of the reasons is to come closer in depth of the Russian Federation and to attack the airfields from where the Russian forces are launching the planes filled with the missiles. So this could be one of the reasons, and which of course a Ukrainian would definitely support.
And how worried are people in Ukraine, Katerina, about the potential response from Moscow? I mentioned that President Zelensky has accused Russian forces of starting a fire at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in southern Ukraine. There's also been speculation again that this could be the thing that provokes Putin into using tactical nuclear weapons. Obviously, we all hope that does not happen. But how seriously do you take those concerns?
People here definitely, I would say, exhausted. There is a fatigue of war, so there is no discussion of the potential use. And also with regards to Kurchatov, a city in the Kursk region where there is a nuclear power plant, Ukrainian officials suggested that also they are not planning to violate any international laws and not planning to play with the fire, meaning to cause any damage to the atomic station. And what happened yesterday overnight, there's a smoke rising from the Zaporizhzhia power plant. You saw that the first who came up were the Ukrainian officials who said that it could be a provocation, basically, from this strong dark smoke that were coming from the facility of the power plants in Energodar. It could be the provocation from the Russians to drag the attention of to drag the attention from the incursion in Russia. Yeah, so I wouldn't say that people here are worried about it, and I don't think that Russians would use it.
Katerina, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Katerina Malafeva there, a Ukrainian journalist in Kyiv.
Are we at another real turning point in the war? And what might Russia's response look like? Let's speak to Oleksiy Goncharenko, who's a Ukrainian MP. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What was behind this, and how were Ukraine able to do this and to be, for the time being anyway, so successful?
We managed to catch our enemy by surprise. This is the most important thing in military. So we did it, and we really have a big success there. And really, for the first time from the Second World War, part of internationally recognized Russian territory is occupied now.
And what is the current state then in Kursk? What is actually happening at this point? I mean, is there still fighting ongoing, or what? What? Who's in charge?
No, it's going. It's a fierce fighting happening. Ukrainian troops are advancing, not so quickly like it was the first days, but still, almost 2 districts of Kursk region are occupied. It's near 300, 400 square kilometers, which is bigger than Liechtenstein, San Marino, and some other European states altogether. Ukrainian forces are just 30 kilometers from Kursk nuclear power plant. As you already told, Russia occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine, in southern Ukraine. Now we are close to Russian nuclear power plant. That's what's happening now, but it's a very dynamic story. It's the war, so it's changing all the time.
And how many Ukrainian troops are involved in this?
If I would know exactly, I would never tell you, just here in life. But I don't know exactly how many, but it's a significant number.
And what is the aim of this particular incursion? Are you trying to take this territory, or to distract and divert Russian troops?
Look, there are military goals and political. Speaking about military, I'm not a military person, so I'm not authorized to comment it. I don't know all ideas which are standing behind. Just the general idea, which I understand, that we attacked the enemy where enemy was not prepared, which is always good. Speaking politically, I think there are several very important messages. First message to Russian people, that it's not just Ukrainian. Villages, towns, and cities will be destroyed and burned down. It also will be Russian. This is important. They need to understand that this is the war in which they will also pay the price. Secondly, is the message to Putin that he is not so strong like he tries to show. And for him, it's a huge failure that he couldn't protect Russian territory with all his imperialistic ideas and trying to get other territories, but he can't protect his own. The third message is to the world, to our allies, that don't be afraid of Putin. And all this is escalation, there's red lines. What is the fierce reaction of Putin? I mean, he's just mumbling something on some public events. So don't be afraid of him. And the last is probably to the whole world community. Russia is not so strong. Russia is a failed empire, not just empire. So I think these are the messages.
I'm just thinking forward to in about an hour or two when we're going to be speaking to a former advisor of President Putin, Sergei Markov. And I can imagine that he's going to be furious about this, and he's going to say, well, this is exactly what we have said about Ukraine from the beginning, that they are the aggressors. That this is the line that he always gives us when we speak to him. What would you say to him?
I would say to him, wow, so finally, after 900 days of full-scale invasion, you recognize that international borders matter. We also think so. So leave Ukraine and the war is finished. It's very easy. So we have all the right to protect ourselves with all the means we have and wherever we need to do it, because it was not us who started this war.
Just finally, Oleksiy, you know, you're talking very tough and people will support you. They will understand what you're saying. However, there is always a risk, isn't there, when you make someone like President Putin look vulnerable, look weak, and that will be what the kind of reaction to this will be. You must be concerned about that.
No, we are not. We want to win this war. In any case, Putin will look not just vulnerable, but it should be a biggest failure of Russia for decades. And Putin should be just a complete failure. So we're not afraid of his reactions at all. What is the sense to fight if you're afraid of your enemy?